Hey y'all, I'm here. Y'all know if there's one thing I'ma come on time for, it's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. If there's one thing I'ma get out on time the same night, it's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. First of all, let me say to y'all, I'm very much so annoyed. I feel like I tried, I'm not gonna stand up because you won't be able to see the whole thing. But I feel like I'm giving more of an ensemble, and I didn't even try than any of these bitches on the show did. Everybody for the most part looked basic or not good, in my opinion. Come on, look at me. I didn't even really try. I really didn't try. I have this nice blazer dress on, giving me church choir vibes with the arms, you know what I'm saying? But bitch, at least I tried. I ain't even put on no makeup. I barely fucking did my hair. Okay? And I still feel like I gave more of effort than these hoes. Let's get into it. This whole first little hour of the reunion was the Garcelle Power Hour. And you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Because DORIT and Lisa had no storyline this season. So guess what? Garcelle was the reason. Because as you can see, we didn't spend an hour on DORIT. We didn't spend an hour on Lisa. We spent an hour on Garcelle. Let's talk about it. Let me get my notes up here. Let's talk about it. So we start off with the preview that I think almost everybody's seen, which is 2 weeks before the actual reunion itself, okay? And I'm sorry, y'all, hold on. Okay. Feel like I'm doing okay. Okay, anyway, so 2 weeks before the actual reunion itself. So Brenna goes over to Erica's house, as we all know, because we've seen that little clip. And, Erica's like, I guess this is, obviously after she's seen the whole season. She was like, I have a lot to say. And then Erica says, remember how you called me and you told me that the girls was turning on me? Again, Lisa, this is exactly why Garcelle said Lisa is not to be trusted. Okay? Because obviously Lisa is here on the sideline making calls to Erica, telling her, well, this person talking about you, this person. And I know for a fact Renna did that. Let's fucking get into it, okay? So, like I said, we're backstage and stuff. Andy, of course, goes to see all of the girls. He goes and he sees Kyle, and he was like, are you nervous about seeing Erica? And she was like, well, I heard she's not too happy with me right now or anything like that. So we'll see how that goes. So let me see, because I got what I think about everybody's outfit. Crystal, I think she looked okay, but she looked basic. Sutton, I never like what Sutton has on. DORIT, I felt like DORIT did look the nicest. But that's nothing new. Garcelle, I felt like, I don't know. I didn't like how flat her hair was. I wish it was a little more, but she was giving me very 1920s vibes with her thing. But she looked okay. Renna, fuck no, you look the mess per usual. I don't know why she always thinks it's a moment to wear a jumpsuit, but no. Kyle was alright. And then to me, this is my opinion. To me, Erica was the best overall dressed. I really liked her hair. I thought her makeup was very simplistic. Erica actually looks her age for real in this reunion. I thought her makeup was okay. But I loved the entire outfit. I loved the pink satin. The heels was on point. She looked good. So we start off obviously with Erica because everybody been on Andy's side ever since we seen this clip. Andy is asking the right fucking questions. Here for it. So anyway, Andy starts off by asking Erica, how do you feel about being here, and, are you ready to address everything that's going on? And, she said she's ready to answer. And, also, I watched the Watch What Happens live after this that Garcelle was on. And, Garcelle and Andy both said that during the reunion, Erica answered maybe 98% of the questions. So at least she answered what he asked. Anyway, so he asked Erica, he said, what do you think is the biggest misconception about you? And she said, the fact that people feel like I'm very cold and that I don't have empathy, to people. She was like, I do have sympathy for the alleged victims. And I know a lot of people was upset about her saying alleged, but from a legal standpoint, she has to say alleged. Even me on my channel, to a degree, I got to be careful about what I say. You have to say alleged. have to. Legally, you have to say that. If she was to say, I feel sympathy for, that's why she said Tom's alleged victims. If she would have just simply said, I have empathy for the victims, then like she ended up saying down, a little bit later, they can go back in court and use that against her. Just saying. So that's why she said alleged, if nobody really understands why, because I saw a lot of people confused about that. But I don't agree with the whole thing about the alleged story, because bitch, that's what you told everybody, and that's what Garcelle said on Watch What Happens Live. Anyway, Andy asked Erica, do you understand why people feel, like you don't have empathy and all of that? And she said yes, but they also don't know like the other side of the story. Then Andy asked her, what was your reaction to everyone else on the show? Like, in what they had to say about you. And she said, disappointed, hurt, anger, but at the end, I guess she felt supported. So then we go on to Sutton. Let me see. Oh, no, sorry. We didn't get to Sutton yet. Sorry. We're talking about the whole lawyers thing. And so Andy goes around the room and asks, and Sutton was like, I did not call like an actual lawyer. I called the friend that was a lawyer. Crystal said that she did because this was going to be her first time being on the show. So as far as contracts and whatnot, she didn't really know what to expect. And then Kyle said she didn't really go to an actual lawyer. She went to Faye Resnick's husband, who's a lawyer, and asked him to break down the article because it was just so odd. So Andy asked Erica, he was like, did at any point in time your lawyers tell you you shouldn't do the show? And I told y'all, if I was her lawyer, I would have told Erica, absolutely not. And I know somebody, if she has a legal team, I know somebody told her, you need to skip this season. And she said, yes, but I told them no because I want to speak my truth and I don't have anything to hide. But I'm going to tell you why she really did it. And I've said this before in my past reviews, and Andy brought it up. Andy was like, well, seeing how this is like your main job, like this is pretty much your only income. So how does that weigh into things? And she said at the time when she was going through, like in the midst of it in the beginning, she didn't really take a lot of that into consideration, but she does now. And I told y'all that is why it is on the show this season, because she has to have some type of income. Outside of Tom, this is Erica's main income. So she has to do the show. If she doesn't do the show, that's such a big, I don't know how much she makes per episode, but I'm pretty sure she makes a lot per episode. So she needs to have, not only does she need to have income, but she needs to have income that's not connected to Tom. That's really more so what it is. So yeah, so so then Andy was like, well, you haven't actually been charged with a crime or anything like that. And Erica was like, yeah, but you would think that I am. And then he was like, a lot of people are saying that they feel like you deserve to be fired. And she was like, no, I shouldn't be fired. I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm here to tell my truth. And somebody said this on Twitter, and it's so true. If Teresa Giudice is still allowed to be on television, then Erica is allowed to be on television. Because see, Teresa actually did go to jail. Her and her entire family, I won't say her family, her and her husband both went to jail. And guess what? She's still on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, even with her terrible ass behavior and all of the fucked up shit that her and her husband did to get that money and to get that house that she's still living in, or that she had to sell, shall I say. So if she's going to be on the show and she was actually convicted and sent to jail, Erica's still going to be on the show. It's good drama. She's not going to get fired. And to be quite honest, if Erica was fired from this season would have been lame. Let's just be real. So then we get on to Sutton, okay? So we talk about Sutton's mom really fast. And I think Andy asks, like, has your mom seen the show? And, what does she think about how you handled everything, in particular with Crystal? And she was like, oh, my mom told me just, like, stop taking things so personal. And that's what everybody else on the cast said. Stop taking shit so personal. And then Andy asked Sutton something about, like, her store or something like that, right? And she was like, yeah, my business is doing very well. And then Renna want to play all stupid, like, you're pointing at me. And she's like, yes. And then they do a flashback apparently on Watch What Happens Live. Renna said something like, oh, well, Sutton doesn't really do anything. Like, she doesn't have a business. She doesn't have a business or anything like that. And then Andy was like, well, she has her store. Yeah, but that's not a business. And then sat there on national TV and said, I mean, yeah, well, I didn't look at a store as a business. So if a store is not a business, what is it, Renna? What is it? I want you to explain to me, if a store that you own is not a business, then what is it? Okay, exactly what the fuck. I don't want Rinna on this show anymore. Like, she is really at the line that I was with Teddy last year. Her and DORIT, both of them. Specifically Rinna and specifically DORIT. I'm so tired of them hoes. They piss me off. So then they asked something about, did she move into her new house? She said, yes, she moved in last week. And then Kyle brings up about how she almost burnt the house down. And I know it was all playful and like Sutton didn't take it seriously, but Kyle gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop coming to the reunion and bringing shit up. Like, stop doing that with people that are your quote unquote friends. Like, I know it wasn't that big of a deal, but I'm just saying, like, you could have had that conversation. Anyway, let's move on. So then we talk about Erica, and Erica, you know how she's single as fuck and she ready to date and she want a man with a big dick and she want to be dick down, obviously, because she hasn't been dick down in probably like 30, 40 fucking years. So yeah. And Sutton is single as well. She said her boyfriend broke up with her on Valentine's weekend. So let's get through this Garcelle thing. And I'm going to be honest. I'm glad that Andy put this on the first part, because I don't think that I could actually deal with parsing this out throughout, because it's going to be 4 parts, which I don't understand why, because we don't need to be here that long. But I appreciate him putting it all in one night for Garcelle, because see, I could not handle sprinkles of this shit, because it was hard for me to even sit through this shit. This was hard to sit through, because the hypocrisy from both DORIT and Rinna was just like through the fucking roof. And the nerve, I'm gonna say it now, I'm gonna get to it, but the nerve of DORIT to say that Garcelle is reaching for relevancy. She's reaching for relevancy. We'll get there. I'll drag her more when we get there. So, all right. So we start off, like I said, with Garcelle. And we start off with the whole thing about her and DORIT and all of that other stuff. So, Andy asked, I guess, DORIT about, you know, like, did you feel like with Garcelle opening up to you guys at the table, did that make you feel like closer to her or something like that? And then DORIT said like 15 times, like, well, yes, but you know, Garcelle was very, what did she say? No, she didn't say passive aggressive. She said passive something, but she was pretty much saying that Garcelle is very passive aggressive, but she connected with her and she really liked her. But she feels like Garcelle was making passive aggressive digs. I don't know, maybe because she wanted to be relevant. Skirt. I'm gonna really try to do this review and not yell. I'm gonna try my best. But you, DORIT, who nobody, the general public, has never heard of you outside of this show or before this show, calls Garcelle was just on the cover of Vogue Italian Vogue. The same Garcelle who was just in Coming to America. The same Garcelle who is currently a host on The Real. The same Garcelle that was in the, excuse me, miss, what's your name? Where are you from? And can I come? And possibly, can I take you out? Video with a whole icon. The same Garcelle that we all know as Fancy. She's reaching. If anything, Garcelle has been so relevant outside of the Beverly Hills so far this past year. She's reaching for like, hold on, pause for a second. Garcelle was barely even on this season last season, because guess what? She was so relevant because she was so busy and she was booked and busy. DORIT, you're using actually Garcelle and how relevant she is to get a storyline. So I just find it all very fucking confusing. You are literally using the fact that Garcelle is one of the favorites on this show, and because she is so relevant, that's why you're picking on her and you're using her as an in. Because outside of that, DORIT, what did you have going on this season? You made a couple of dresses. Whoop-de-the-do. You and every other housewife. What's up? Because outside of that, what else did you have going on? Fucking relevant. And Garcelle was me and the rest of the audience. What? Relevant? Bitch, I'm the reason this show is relevant. Quiet as kept. So DORIT then talks about how she called Garcelle a bully, and Garcelle said, I want an apology for that. And Andy, of course, went into breaking down how people felt like, you know, you was literally trying to put the angry black woman stereotype on her. And this is the thing. I want white women to understand that just because you don't consciously do something, that doesn't mean that there's not subconscious context to that. Like Andy read off the thing, Erica literally cursed everybody out. Everybody out. Went off on Sutton, literally cursed everybody out this season. And not once did you call her a bully. And do you want to know what this stupid, you know what, answer to that is? Well, Andy, the thing about it is with Garcelle, it's insistent. It's all the time. And with Erica, that was one-off incidents. That's the shit that we're talking about right there. That's the shit that we're talking about as black women right there. That is bullshit. Erica, from the beginning of this season, has been tearing in on Sutton and anybody else who had anything to question her or to fucking say. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. My shit was about to die. And I gotta hurry up too. But anyway. Yeah, so that's the shit that we be talking about. Why is it okay? Erica literally cursed everybody out, anybody who had anything to say about her. But the minute that Garcelle doesn't even go off, just literally plainly says what she feels about everybody, now all of a sudden she's a bully. No, keep the same fucking energy. I don't care what DORIT says. It absolutely has to do with the fact that she's black. The same way how Leah, let's go back to the Real Housewives of New York, the same way that Leah was able to get up at a table full of white women and call every single last one of them bitches, and nobody calls her aggressive. But literally 5 minutes later, Ebony says something in a cool, calm, collective voice, and now she's being aggressive. We understand the subcontext, even if y'all fucking don't. Even if y'all don't. It's there. Because you didn't say, it's not even, oh, you wouldn't say it about a white woman. You did not say it about a white woman when the exact same situation was faced with you. And to be quite honest, what Garcelle was saying wasn't even nearly as bad as Erica was acting. And Erica, I don't know why the fuck you felt this whole thing during Garcelle to keep piping up. You got enough shit going on. How about you leave this Garcelle shit to somebody else? Because, bitch, you got enough. And you're an easy-ass read as far as I'm concerned. I can't wait for Andy to dig in Erica's ass. Like, she just kept chiming in too much about something that had nothing to fucking do with her. Okay? So, I'm sorry, I'm trying to take my time. Okay, I really gotta hurry up because I'm like running my mouth too much. But, so, the other point that had me pissed off is that Rinna and DORIT said that when it comes to Garcelle, when she's in her confessional, she has so much to say. But then when she gets in front of everybody else, she doesn't have anything to say. And even Andy jumped in with Garcelle and said, all of you guys do that. And then DORIT and Rinna have the nerve to sit up there and say, no, you do it more than everybody else. Again, cut the shit. Everybody does that. Everybody on this cast says one thing in front of everybody's faces and something else in confessionals. And like I said on Twitter, bitch, I can't wait till we get on to everything that you bitches was talking about Erica behind her back, because you was the main one who every time Erica wasn't around in your confessionals, you're talking about, oh, it's unbelievable, oh, it's unbelievable, sitting up there with PK talking shit, sitting there with Kyle and Mauricio talking shit. But when you're in Erica's face, you're so strong, you're so strong, you're so strong. Again, DORIT and Rinna had no storyline this season, so they used Garcelle as pretty much a storyline. That's what they used her for. They used her for a storyline because there really was no real issue there. DORIT, you wanted there to be a fucking issue. So then, in the midst of that, Andy was like, DORIT was still running her mouth as she usually does, talking about something. Garcelle, you need to be more direct versus doing like little subliminal jabs. And so Andy said, well, you asked her to be direct, and then she is, like when she said you talk too much, but then you still turn around and say that she's jabbing you. Exactly. That's all anybody has been saying all season. She literally told you to your face, you talk too much. But she's taking jabs. No, that's telling you exactly how she feels. And then Rinna jumps in and says like something, and Garcelle was like, Rinna, like, calm down. Like, in a sense of, bitch, will get to you. And here goes Rinna. You don't tell me what to do. I'll speak. The way that these bitches, their tone of voice towards Garcelle was really making me want to come through the screen. Because who the fuck are y'all talking to? Who are y'all talking to? Y'all talk like that to Kyle or somebody else. That's not the one you want. Because see, if she really would have raised up on y'all, then she would be wrong. I cannot. And then we got Crystal here on the end, fucking caping for DORIT and Rinna, talking about some, well, you do that, Garcelle, because when we was all at the dinner or whatever, you sat there in your confessional, said that nobody knows me. Crystal, can I tell you why that's null and void? She said that because she was defending her friend. She said that in her confessional because literally in that clip, you were at the table with Kathy, Erica, and Garcelle saying how you did not know Sutton because she didn't go to the same country club as you. That's why Garcelle said that. So let's not sit up here and try to make it seem like she came out of nowhere and said that. She was saying that in defense of her friend. How dare you be able to sit at a table and talk about not knowing somebody? So let me get this right. It's okay for you to say that about Sutton, but it's not okay for Garcelle to say that about you. Get the fuck out of here, Crystal. I don't know if you trying to kiss everybody's ass now, but that shit was unnecessary too. I caught that and I'm not here for it, okay? So, and then DORIT tries to bring up like something that, about that whole table scene and how, why didn't you jump up for something? Why did you only say it in your confessional? And Garcelle was pretty much like, you don't even know what happened. And here goes DORIT. Garcelle, I'm talking. Who is she yelling at? See, Garcelle is a whole lot more classier and better than me because the same way that the same way that Portia dragged Kenya for that fucking bullhorn moment. Yeah, y'all want to talk about Candace and somebody having the smart mouth and somebody needs to be dragged? I would have hopped smooth across that table and I would have dragged the fuck out of DORIT, seeing how everybody is so for violence, right? That's the type of shit that I would have did. Bitch, you got me fucked. Who was she talking to? And everybody was like, whoa. Because see, DORIT, she, again, no storyline. So you have to like, it's giving me very much, I'm going to tell you exactly what this is like. DORIT and the Garcelle thing is just like Stephanie. No, not Stephanie. What is Mrs. Pink bitch from the Real Housewives of Dallas? I can't think of her name, but whatever that bitch is that was coming for Dr. Tiffany, that's Cameron. There we go. It's DORIT and Garcelle is Cameron and Dr. Tiffany because Cameron didn't have a fucking storyline. So what she did was take any and everything that Dr. Tiffany said and she took it to heart and used it as a reason to be upset, which is exactly what happened this season. That's exactly what it was. It was the same fucking thing. So then I guess at the end they said that them two was fine. So then they asked Garcelle, does she think that everything that Rinna was doing as far as like doing the birthday thing and giving her the sauce and stuff, like, oh, did you think that was genuine or do you think that it was a chess move? And Garcelle was like, that's an excellent question, and to be quite honest, I don't know. And that's her being real. And I put on Twitter because I would really believe it. I do believe that was all a chess move. That was a chess move because your ass Rinna got ate up last year. And that's the thing, Rinna, it don't matter what you do because you're trying your best to not get ate up. That's why you didn't say anything about Erica. You was kissing Garcelle's ass because you didn't want to get ate up. Guess what? Your ass got ate up anyway today because of how you came for Garcelle. You literally, in my opinion, you did that because of the backlash that you got last season for Denise, and you wanted to kiss Garcelle's ass because Garcelle is a favorite on this show. So you wanted to be in her good graces. That's a fact. I don't care what nobody fucking says. And then you have everybody all of a sudden jumping down on Garcelle trying to tell her that what Rinna did was genuine. How the fuck do y'all know that? Rinna is nobody's friend. I've been saying that for the past 2 years of me reviewing the show. She's nobody's friend. I can't. So then Andy asked Garcelle, how does she expect Rinna to stand up for her? I've been told Garcelle a long time ago on my reviews, Rinna will never stand up for you because she's only friends out of convenience. That's how that works. And then Sutton pretty much jumps in and says, Andy asked her, how does she feel? And Sutton was like, well, I feel like part of the reason why Garcelle doesn't trust you is because you don't really have anybody's back. Like, you didn't even have my back. So if you can't have my back, how can you have anybody else's back? And then Garcelle pretty much says, well, I'm gonna be real, Lisa. Somebody told me that you told them that you was upset that I was bringing race into the situation, and that everybody is so up in arms and, oh, you should have said that. I don't care about none of that shit. Let me tell you something. I believe that Rinna said that. I believe that wholeheartedly that she said that. I believe that she said that. I believe that she said that because Rinna is nobody's friend, and she's fucking fake, and she's fraudulent. So I absolutely believe that she fucking said that. And then Rinna, after going all of this back and forth about, oh, well, Garcelle, you should have said something. Fuck all y'all hoes. She ain't got to say nothing if she don't want to. Then Rinna was like, well, you should apologize for doing that. Nope. And she didn't. And I'm glad that she didn't. No, because that's what I heard. And then she was like, you would believe that I would say that? And Garcelle was like, I don't know that you didn't. AKA, I believe that you did say that, Rinna, because you're fucking full of shit. And then in the midst of them all going back and forth pretty much about the whole race thing, Rinna is gonna say, I mean, even Harry was watching TV and said, oh my gosh, is she okay? And even Garcelle was like, girl, bye. Harry did not say that. Don't put that on fine ass Harry Hamlin. Do not put that on fine ass Harry Hamlin. And even if he did say that, Rinna, again, this is what shows that you're a fucking opportunist. Why would you take that moment to throw your own husband? That's the thing. Rinna is willing to throw her own husband under the fucking bus. You literally threw your own husband under the bus to make a mute fucking point. I know damn well Harry Hamlin didn't say that because Harry Hamlin probably don't even give 2 fucks about the show. That's the thing. If she would throw her own husband under the bus about something or make up a lie, because I feel like that's a lie that he said that, to get her fucking point across, what makes you think she wouldn't do it to the rest of you hoes? Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. So, like I said, everybody is just running their mouth, and I wanted Erica to show up because she kept chiming in. And then DORIT said something to the effect of like, well, I don't want to say that she's miserable or anything, which is saying that girl, if anybody is miserable, girl, it's you, DORIT, because you don't have a fucking life. You don't have a life, girl. Garcelle has an entire life and career outside of this. She could never do Real Housewives and this is only her 2nd season. What do you mean, DORIT? What the fuck outside of a swimwear have you done outside of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Nothing. So you can't come for a bitch who had something when she got here. Anyway, Kathy comes out and then they talk to Erica again, and Erica said that, all of the times that she defended Tom, that's because that's her husband and that's what she's going to do. Get that. And then the last question was like, why didn't you leave when he cheated? And she said, I told him to divorce me if you was in love with somebody else. And then Andy said, well, what did he say in the cutoff? I watch What Happens Live, and the only thing Garcelle said that stood out to me was that, when everybody said they liked DORIT's dress the most, she said, girl, pearls was falling off. I said, the shade of it all. And the other lady who was on there said that she felt like Rinna, because I didn't even bring up at the very end Rinna getting up and going over and saying hi to Garcelle or hugging her, because it was fake. Like that woman said on Watch What Happens Live, it was all performative. Bitch, you did that. That was all performative. The same way you got on Twitter this afternoon, because Garcelle been trending all day. You got on Twitter and go and put, oh, we named my outfit and tag Garcelle. No, bitch, you can't get ahead of the storm. You came for our bitch, so guess what? We came for your head. I'm glad this is done, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. I'm out. Bye.